Aum Sairam to all the Sai devotees.
By the immense grace of Shri Sainath Maharaj, let us all now heed to the biography of great apostle of Shri Sai Baba, Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji, narrated in the book As the Flower Sheds Its Fragrance by DR.G.R. Vijayakumar. Chapter 17, Lockets and Calendars. Narasimha Swamiji arranged for printing of Sai Baba's pictures on a mass scale. These pictures were useful for creating devotion for Sai Baba. Rao Brothers, printers in Triplicane, Madras, produced pictures of Sai Baba from tricolor blocks on art paper in card size and cabinet size. The Tripura Sundari Jewelry Works in Mint Street, Madras, made lockets in circular and star designs in small, medium and big sizes and in gold plate and nickel. Every locket contains picture of Sai Baba on one side and deity on the other side. Around the picture of Sai Baba or minted in Tamil the famous saying of Sai Baba, "Why fear when I am there?" They also made rings, buttons and pendants containing Sai Baba's figures in bust and tiny silver padukas. Devotees were quite enthusiastic in purchasing these items. This generated a lot of income for the All India Sai Samaj, which in turn was helpful in its expansion. Today, Sai Baba's pictures, lockets, rings are quite common and are seen in every household. But one should remember their origin at Madras under the leadership of Narasimha Swamiji. Swamiji introduced these items even at Shirdi, as none of them were available there prior to 1941. Lockets and rings were supplied to Shirdi from Madras suppliers even up to 1970. When Narasimha Swamiji went to Shirdi for the first time in 1936, the number of persons seeking solace at the feet of Sai Baba could be counted. Even though thousands used to flock Shirdi when Sai Baba was in physical form, after his Mahasamadhi, the number of visitors had drastically reduced to a single digit, and even intimate devotees of Sai Baba were under the impression that Sai Baba's glory, like any other mortal, had reached the peak, which had come down after his casting the mortal coil. It was only after 1936 the Sai movement, led by Narasimha Swamiji, gathered tremendous momentum, spreading all over the country and reaching out even beyond the frontiers of India. Today, not hundreds but millions visit Shirdi to have darshan of Sai Baba. But this was not an easy task. Even though he had contributed wholeheartedly in taking Sai Baba to all nooks and corners of India, he had to face a lot of resistance. Many were hostile to him doing anti-propaganda. "This man wants us to worship a Muslim fakir." Since the All India Sai Samaj was getting huge income from sale of lockets, rings, etc., even a few among the authorities of Shirdi Samsthan were jealous of Narasimha Swamiji. They went to the extent of inserting press releases and notices in the newspapers. "This Madrasi Sadhu is doing all this for gaining money. Nobody should believe him." Very soon, some important people at Shirdi realized that Narasimha Swamiji's efforts were wholehearted and sincere, and they encouraged the Sai movement. Undaunted by all this anti-propaganda, Narasimha Swamiji also continued his Sai Prachar work with the firm conviction, when Sai Baba is with me, why should I be afraid of anything? The opposition to Narasimha Swamiji and the anti-propaganda for Sai Prachar work came to an end very soon, and even his detractors cooperated with Swamiji after realizing his selfless service to take Sai Baba out of Shirdi to all over. Narasimha Swamiji realized that all these trials and tribulations were only to test his firm faith in achieving his objective, and he was fully aware that Sai Baba had accepted his mission. During his Sai Prachar work, on many occasions, he referred to this aspect, and he had referred to the manifold miracles he experienced in his discourses and articles. Narasimha Swamiji's immense and matchless efforts have discovered for us Sai Baba as a world savior whose presence in our hearts help us to ward off danger and cast off fear. To some extent, it is true that the rapid spread of Sai faith was due to the emphasis which was laid on the mundane benefits derived from devotion to Sai Baba. But it is mainly through conferring material benefits that God always attracts and draws devotees to himself, secures their love and devotion, and places them on the path that leads them to their mortal and spiritual advancement. Were he not our refuge and strength, our helper amid the flood of mortal ills prevailing, nobody would care for God. Narasimha Swamiji has stated in his work Life of Sai Baba, Volume 1, that at the time of his Mahasamadhi in 1918, Sai Baba was little understood, and there was hardly anything worth calling a real account of his life. Even in 1936, hardly 10 people used to visit the shrine, but it was only after 1936 the Sai movement gathered momentum, spreading all over India and even abroad. The rise and spread of the Sai movement is entirely due to the initiative and devoted and single-minded endeavor of Narasimha Swamiji. To say this is to state the obvious, but we need to remind ourselves of the immense debt of gratitude we owe to Narasimha Swamiji for showing us Lord Sainath, the Savior, and leading us to him. Dear Sai Bandhus, we shall now close the 17th chapter of the biography of Pujyashri Narasimha Swamiji, and the rest will be continued in the next chapter. Bow to Shri Sai, peace be to all. Aum Sairam.